Lost generations, culture and language, lost trust. It's horribly, horribly wrong.
1 week ago, President Biden formally apologized to Native Americans for a government-run boarding school system that separated children from their families by force for at least 150 years. A Washington State Supreme Court justice called the move stunning. Justice Raquel Montoya-Lewis was with President Biden during that historic moment. Our Olympia Bureau Chief Drew Mickelson spoke with her about the impact the racist program has had on her own life.
In a room with so many historic rulings
of the Supreme Court of the state of Washington.
Another first in 2020, when Justice Raquel Montoya-Lewis became the first Native American to serve on a state Supreme Court, any state's Supreme Court. As a child, Montoya-Lewis was bullied for being different, but was inspired to fight for justice in part because of her great-grandmother.
The things that happened to me were painful and sad, but they weren't dehumanizing in the way that I know she experienced, because I can see it in the pictures.
In 1880, at the age of 14, Kiatse was taken from her family in New Mexico and sent to Pennsylvania's Carlisle Indian Industrial School, forced to assimilate into white culture. For 150 years, the U.S. government, under the motto, "Kill the Indian to save the man," operated hundreds of boarding schools across the country. Washington State had 15 schools, most in the western U.S. At Carlisle, Kiatse was given a new name, Mary Perry.
Becoming Christians and praying in a certain way and not praying in their traditional way, having their hair cut. There's probably hundreds of things that I don't even know about.
Perry was featured in the school's newsletter with before and after photos, images that were supposed to show the program was working.
Lost generations, culture and language, lost trust.
Last Friday, more history for Justice Montoya-Lewis. She was invited to Arizona to see President Joe Biden apologize for the Indian boarding schools.
I formally apologize as President of the United States of America for what we did. I formally apologize.
It really was a stunning experience from start to finish.
Justice Montoya-Lewis wants more stories told and perhaps federal payments made to those still suffering generational trauma. While she knows what happened was wrong, Justice Montoya-Lewis is not sure what her great-grandmother would think of the history today after what she was forced to learn in school.
That the best person she could be would be someone who would pass for white. And so, when you ask me, like, well, what would you think about all of this and where I am, I think she might not like how proud I am of who I am.
Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.